Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
What's up, everyone? It's me, Josh Gonzales.
Hello.
What's up?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
You know, it's been a pretty good day. I made it. I made it here.
Yes, and you were like in studio all day, so you're just going from music to talking about music.
I know it's been, like I said, it's been a day. It's been a good day. Like, I can't believe how much I've accomplished today. It's actually blowing my mind a little bit.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, glad to hear it. But before we get into the now, let's start right at the beginning. What got you into music initially?
So it's really like a long story, but to keep it like more or less condensed, like I've basically been performing since I was like a small kid, like 4 years old, before I even touched an instrument.
Oh, dang. Were you like in plays, or were you just like a performative child?
It's like both. So like I was put in plays as a young kid, and I was performing, like singing for my grandparents whenever they'd want me to give me money and stuff like that for it. They give all my cousins money and stuff for it. They'd see it, they'd be like, all right. But then I didn't start playing any instruments until I was about 5 years old. And I started off on the piano, but I did that for, you know, most of my childhood. I ended up playing piano in like church when I was 8 years old.
Oh, gotcha.
And then they started pointing at all the other instruments, and they're like, all right, it's time for you to learn another instrument. Which one do you want to learn? And I'm like, what's the coolest looking instrument on this stage? That one, that huge thing, that one that with 5 strings, and it was a bass.
Nice.
So after that, like I learned the bass, and then after that, I was just like, all right, now I'm like a middle schooler. What else can I learn?
Yeah.
All right, guitar. Like, let's just pick it up. It's like a bass. But then I also like kind of sort of already knew how to play ukulele a little bit, because when you grow up a certain kind, like, because I'm from Hawaii, you know.
Gotcha. Okay. And so yeah, that's like the recorder for like elementary schools here.
Basically, it's like you learn this because it's just passively there. And I didn't at the time think anything of it. I just thought it was like a kid's instrument. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I played guitar. But then one day my friends from high school, they were like, yo, I'm about to get an ukulele. And I'm like, what? Ukulele? Why? And then it turned out to be like a bigger sized ukulele. I'm like, what the heck? I didn't even know they came in this size. Wait, this is actually pretty cool. And then they came in a bigger size, because he had a concert size ukulele. I had a full like 18 frets concert size ukulele. And then I bought a tenor. So I was like, oh, this is actually freaking awesome. Like, you can play everything you want. Like you can play any song you want on ukulele. So like for a hot minute, I was just playing like ukulele. And like I also learned drums somewhere down the line, because, you know, pop punk bands and all that stuff, being a high schooler. Also like rhythm games. Yeah. Like, there's this rhythm game called Drum Mania. Arcades. You ever heard of like Dance Dance Revolution?
Oh, I used to slay at Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah, I was one of those gamers, like a rhythm gamer. I'd show up at the arcades. I'd just be like, I'd go ham and make sure my name is on the top of the leaderboard of next song or whatever. Yeah, and so I learned drums for playing video games, essentially.
Yeah, well, that was like, even Rock Band like gave you the, like, that was the one instrument that was like available that like, it wasn't super, like, it wasn't exactly like playing drums, but it was a lot closer to playing drums than the guitar was to playing guitar. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So yeah, and then after that, I just learned whatever else came my way. Someone hands me a thing. At this point, I just like, I'll sit down with it for like maybe like a day to like a month, and I'll try and figure it out. And now we're here. Like, I play I don't know, whatever.
You play you do everything.
Whatever someone gives me. I mean, I wouldn't say I play them all completely equally well, but there are definitely like the longer I've been playing it, the better I get at it. So it's like they're all getting better at the same exact time.
Well, then you're around a lot of people who are doing it all the time, and you're like in settings where you can interact with it all. So it's not like one of those things where it's like you're only listening to like the music that you take in from like your personal listening choices. You have so many people actively doing the things around you.
Exactly. And sometimes like I'll see like a musician and I'll just be like, yo, that was sick. Let me try and do that. Like, like I used to have like this mentality of like, I'd see something really cool. I'd be like, I bet you I could do that. And then I just like keep going at it until like I thought I got it, but it's actually just morphing into me. And I'm like, no, stop it. I'm trying to copy someone like directly. And it's just turning into my style, and then I feel like I failed, but I didn't. It just turned into part of me at that point. And I've just kind of like learned to accept it, and it's like, there you go, it's my style.
I don't think people realize that all style kind of derives from that a little bit. Like what you're gonna take and like do in the future, all of that comes from stuff you learn in the beginning. That comes from either learning from a teacher or from hearing it from somebody else. And like that first time that you're like, oh, when they go up this way or when they do this certain movement, it sounds a certain way. I just want that tiny bit.
Yeah.
I don't need their whole style. There's just this accent that they've done once in this one song that I want to be part of my thing.
Yeah. And the cool thing about like playing a bunch of different instruments is like I'll be inspired by whatever musician I'll find at the time, and then I'll use that style of that instrument with this instrument, and I'll just be like, okay, let's do that what that guy did here with the here. So like I'll figure out like a saxophone part, I play it on the guitar.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that, and it's like all different areas of inspiration. Like I'll just get, like I said, I'll just find someone completely different. And I'll slap it here just because.
Yeah. Hell yeah, I love that.
It's kind of like genres too, like how I'm mostly doing reggae these days. Like I was doing like math rock before. I was doing like metal and pop punk most of like my young days, and now here it's funny because I hated reggae.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say I hated reggae. I would say I hated Jawaiian. Because I actually I thought about it. I'm like, no, I liked Yellow Man. I like Bob Marley. Like back in the day, I'm like, what did I dislike? And I just I thought it was a little bit cheesy, but here I am now making like what is essentially Jawaiian, but and it's funny how that came about too, because it's just like I showed up in the mainland and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do all these other genres, and then every now and then I'd hear someone doing reggae, and I'm like, wait, that's not like, no, you're doing it wrong. Hold on, give me that bass. You know, it's like,
yeah, you were kind of called to it whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah, it's like, wait, you're doing it wrong. You can't. How are you supposed to do background music of like the islands, and you're not?
Yeah, you're not
right.
Yeah,
you know. So it's like reggae is like essentially like the country music of the islands, you know, and that's funny because country is getting really big there now too.
Yeah, country is definitely hitting its renaissance at the moment.
Yeah.
But every genre does it at a certain point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At some point, ska is going to come back. And
I can't wait.
Yeah, so a lot of people in the world of reggae are pretty okay with it, from what I've gathered. But before we get into more of the now, I do have a couple foundation questions I like to check in with everybody on. And this first one is one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
I say that was with my own money. It was I Empire by Angels and Airwaves.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like before I'm not gonna lie, I was just straight up getting stuff from LimeWire because my cousin was like,
oh, allegedly.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just but then I one day LimeWire died, and then I was just walking around in Hot Topic, and I'm like, yo, I actually really like Angels and Airwaves, the first album, you know, the adventure and the war and all that stuff. And so I bought I Empire right there in that Hot Topic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still have that CD?
No.
Damn. Okay.
Freaking gone. Everything's gone from back in those days.
No, I feel ya. And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to that was specifically one you wanted to go to? So you saw it was happening, you got the ticket, you went to it.
It was the used, I'd say. The used was definitely like, this was like, what, 2009? It's funny because like, I technically saw Owl City before that, and I didn't really like care for Owl City at the time. But then when I saw them live, I was just like, okay, I see now.
Yeah.
And that was peak Owl City. But I want to say that like the thing that like got me and was like, all right, yeah, concerts are pretty sick was definitely the used. It had like, and I'm like 17 years old or something, right? And I just came from like a Baptist high school, and I'm over here trying to be an emo kid in Hawaii where there's rainbows everywhere, and I'm like listening to the used, and I'm just like, yeah, let's go see the used because I missed out on My Chemical Romance for like one reason or another.
Oh, damn.
Showing my age. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. Like they had a wall of death. Like I crowd surfed a little bit. The other people I was with crowd surfed with me for a little bit. And like there were these like girls from my high school that was also there. And I was like, what the heck? We're not supposed to all be here. Well, we'd get like super hella demerits if anyone found out we were here and we were all there.
Well, I won't say anything if you don't.
No, I won't. Don't tell anyone.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead. Let's go on into the present day. We are going to get, I ask everybody this, so I have to ask you this. I'm sure it's a very straightforward answer. How did you pick your artist name?
So I was supposed to be named Jessica.
Fair.
But then my mom popped me out and was like, wait a minute, that's a boy. That's not a Jessica, that's a Joshua.
Oh, fair enough.
My dad was just like, yeah, I agree.
Hell yeah. Well, shout
out
out mom and dad for that.
My name, and I'm like trying to like use other monikers, but it's just like I'm just gonna use my name at this point. I go by like my tag is Maho Shoujo, but that's more like a gamer tag, and sometimes I think it's a brand.
No,
it is
good name,
Maho Shoujo.
Yeah,
you want to know how I got that one?
I do want to know, actually. Yes.
Do you even know what that means?
I know what Sojo is, but I don't know what Maho is.
Magical. I'm a magical girl. Maho Shoujo means magical girl, guys. I got it tattooed on my freaking neck. It's stupid. You can't even see it because it's all like
that may have made it. We'll find out in post.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah,
but yeah, I got it tattooed on my neck. That's like my, tag. Since I would just like pretend that people would be like, hey, guess what? I'm secretly a magical girl. That's like every now and then, like you experience this form of deja vu, but that's actually me resetting time after I saved the world.
Oh, well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to be acknowledged finally.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I know it sounds really stupid, but no,
hey man, we've all got to have our things, and it's cool that you chose to get it put on you. I am also a believer of brand on body.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. All right, now let's go ahead and we're going to get into just some of your stuff, some of your process, some of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we're going to knock out some technical stuff real quick. Just get it out of the way early. In the world of like production and things like that, because you do have a mainstay in engineering and such, as well as like, you do much in music as well, but just on the engineering side of things, what's your primary DAW? What are you usually recording on or into?
So these days I'm recording into Nuendo / Cubase. That's
gotcha. Yep.
That's what I'm working most of my projects out these days. But also I'm like super fluent in Reaper. I know what everyone's thinking.
Shout out Reaper. That is the unsung hero.
It truly is.
It was what Audacity never had the audacity to be.
It's true. It never was able to get past the basics of, which is funny because Reaper is super hella basic.
Powerful.
It's powerful, but it's basic. I say it's like hard mode for engineers because you got to like really just think about what you're going to do.
Well, it's weirdly powerful for being very free.
Yeah, exactly.
It shouldn't be as free as it is good.
Yeah.
Which, we have to edit all of this to say Ableton every time we've said it. No, I'm kidding. That's just what I use. But no, Reaper is phenomenal. Also, Cubase is super good now.
Yeah, I love Cubase. I've been using Cubase since like 2012.
Yeah,
basically.
They're like, in a lot of ways, not like stylistically, but they evolved like Ableton did. They like really looked at what people wanted, really kind of focused on making the functionality strong, and like the UI for Cubase is phenomenal. It looks great. and just they've always like listened to like features people wanted. And so I feel like Cubase is one of those that like, unlike Reason, who like tries to kind of stay the like edgy dark horse of the production world, Cubase is really that like next thing coming.
Yeah.
Like it's basically there now, but like that's going to be the one where like you give it like five more years and it's going like the big 3 is going to become the big 4.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's funny because like Reason, I guess, like I haven't had too much experience with Reason, but I do remember it being like what Ableton is nowadays.
Well, Reason is so proprietary.
Yeah.
That was the part that really kind of shot them in the foot, is you had to use their plugin formats or their plugins or their stuff because they wouldn't play well with everybody else. I think it's changed now, but don't quote me on that. Somebody put that in the comments. Let me know if you can use third-party plugins in Reason.
Yeah, I haven't checked out Reason because, like I said, I've been
so strange. Yeah.
It's like actually no. Wait, when I went on tour like 2 tours ago, there was a guy. I forgot what his name is, but shout out to Rub a Tree. That's the band that I saw use Reason. They had a pretty cool studio. He had like a room inside of a room, and we were like writing horn parts for them. But that was like the last time I saw Reason. I'm like I said, I'm mostly in Nuendo. Oh, it's like because of workflow. Like like the partner that I'm partnering up with for like all my audio engineering projects, he uses Nuendo. And I've been using Cubase for like the past, like I said, forever, as well as Reaper. I would switch between the two. Like some years I would have Reaper as my main DAW. Some years I'd have Cubase as my main DAW. Now it's like a combination of Nuendo for like studio stuff and Reaper for live. So like, you know how people would use Ableton for like live backing tracks and stuff and playback and all that. Well, I'm using Reaper because Reaper just never has really failed me.
Yeah.
Because
if it works, it works. I wish more people used MainStage. Do you remember MainStage?
I use MainStage.
Fuck yeah. You know who else used MainStage and like should have championed this? T-Pain. T-Pain was one of the worked with Apple on making MainStage as powerful as it was in some of its earlier days.
Yeah.
And like that's what he used live. So it is truly one of the unsung performance heroes.
Yeah, I definitely like, especially like when I'm doing keys, I'll have like my main like Phantom out with my like DeepMind with like I
love the DeepMind.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I'll have like an organ mod like my Mojo Crumar, and then I'll just have like another MIDI controller with MainStage on it because it's just so lightweight, you know, and it takes all of your like VSTs and stuff.
That's the point. Is it was supposed to be a like low processor demanding multi-function tool for live performance.
Yeah. And it's great. Like I have no complaints. My friend from back when I lived in the Bay Area, he's the one who introduced me to MainStage because I was like, oh, why would I use this when I could just use my DAW? And it's just like, oh, this is just really lightweight. Like hardly any processing being done. It is what it is. It basically turns your MIDI keyboard into like a Phantom. And I'm like already using the Phantom, and it's just like, oh, it's so programmable. So I got a couple patches done. This was like, I haven't touched MainStage in a couple years because like I haven't played keys for a band in a minute. And like what I would do is I would like split like the organ for the left hand of the keys. And then my right hand would be just piano, and I would do bubbles off of just MainStage, and I would have all my other keys for, you know, assorted other reasons. But if I had to bubble something, it was definitely just MainStage. Yeah. You know, like doesn't hurt, doesn't do nothing crazy. It does what it does, and it does it well.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then on the recording side of things, because again, just a huge nerd for these things. What are some of your like go-to microphones that you like to use? And now obviously in a setting, I'm sure you have a handful of ones that you have access to, but like, what are the ones that like every time you see them, you're like, I'm gonna go for that first?
Well, for like, that depends on what I'm doing. Like, I really like, today, for example, I use the Beta 87A, which is like a dynamic microphone.
87.
For, we did that for...
Wait, isn't that Beta 87? Isn't that the condenser one?
Yeah, it's not...
But the condenser handheld.
It's like, it looks like a dynamic.
Yeah.
It's a hand... Like, it
it's the one with the flat top, and then it's kind of... Yeah.
Yeah, like, it confused me. Like, at first because I'm like, wait a minute, this needs phantom power? Why? And I look at it, I'm like, oh, I guess it is a condenser mic.
Yeah. And it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it sounds really good with horns, sounds really good as a snare mic, sounds really good as like a guitar, like on or off axis kind of mic.
Because it can handle high SPL. Like that's like it can take loud sounds.
Yeah.
Like it can fill the role, not quite the role of an SM7B as far as like overall practicality. Because like I wouldn't use it on like a hi-hat. But like it's still so versatile and clear.
Yeah. And like I guess, yeah, for like dynamic mics, you can't go wrong with like a good old SM57 or a Sennheiser 451 or something like that. Even like the electro voices. Those are like some of the microphones that like if I just saw it, I would just immediately just gravitate towards. Like if I was doing drum overheads, I'd use AKGC 414s. If I'm doing vocals, I would do like a Telefunken or a U87. Heck, I would even use a 414. I've used 414s as vocal mics all the time. 414s are definitely like
414s are the proper workhorse microphone.
Yeah, like out of like if I had to just choose a microphone to just use, and that's the only microphone I'm using as a condenser, I guess I'd just choose like a C414.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a very educated answer. Those are really cool mics too, especially because you can get good matched pairs.
Yeah, that's exactly why. It's because you can get good matched pairs and they sell it just together.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they're like, we did the work.
Yeah.
Here you go. And then you just have two that you can use for anything. You don't have to use them together all the time. But when you do use them together, they work.
Yeah. And it's funny because like even these guys, like these UAs right here, like I like these because like I went to college for like, first of all, I went to college for audio engineering, recording technology at HCC. And then I learned digital signal processing and like the computer sciencey side when I lived in the Bay Area. And that's what my second degree is. Yeah, and my main focus was like digital signal processing. And basically what they're doing with these guys, and they even admit this on like their website, and don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure they're just finding an impulse response building around the impulse response, and then they made these microphones. This is the SM7B, but it's not SM7B because now you can just basically interchange each one. So now they just have all their, curves all different and all their impulse responses all different. So I like these because of efficiency.
Yes. Yes. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have five of them.
You got five of them.
5 of them. Yes. I am a firm believer, but my reason for picking them is a little bit different because I do largely spoken word. You don't see like these were on some of the early live like song performances, but they weren't like primarily there for talking.
Yeah.
The reason why I ended up going for this was originally I was using a 7B with a cloud lifter, but I didn't love how it sounded. The 7B is the ultimate workhorse microphone because it's so malleable, not because it sounds amazing right away.
Yeah.
These sounded like what I EQ'd the 7B to sound like. So out of the box, they already sound like what I wanted from the 7B. They're also a little bit hotter, so the necessity for a cloud lifter is not as strong. But if you do need to use them, you shouldn't use a cloud lifter because it boosts it too much because they're too hot. But Clark Technic makes a $45 version. That is they claim now that it's the same dB boost, but it's not. It's actually 12 dB instead of 20 dB. And so you like get a little less boost, but it's the perfect amount. So by the time you've bought 3 of these with the boxes, the amount of money you save in difference can buy you a 4th one with a box.
That's what I'm saying too. It's because it's like, again, you can basically make this sound like whatever you want.
Well, I don't get that option because I don't go into a computer for any of the recording stuff. So this is I just have to use what the mics sound like.
Dude, if you got an Apollo and like...
Oh, I'm aware. But also,
cool.
I like how these sound. Universal Audio. Sponsor me.
I know, right?
All right, but getting back to you. When you're starting a project with someone else, so we're going to stay focused on this for a little bit more. What does that usually look like for you? Somebody comes in for the first time. They want to record a song. We'll kind of set up just a scenario here. It's a singer-songwriter, acoustic guitarist. Let's do female vocalist. So she sings, she plays guitar. And that's kind of all that she does. How do you go about getting the session started?
Well, first I'd see if they had like a demo or something like, who do you have anything like that I can reference? Like, what you sound like. Can I see a video of you doing something, or can you like do a real quick thing? And then I ask them, can you show me like a reference of who you're trying to like emulate?
Mhm.
And I'll keep in mind like the references that they show me versus like what they want from these references. And I'll try in my best to like keep exactly what's in mind for what their vision is. Because honestly, depending on what I'm doing, if I'm like producing someone, if they want me to like infuse my personal sound into it, I'll infuse my personal sound into it. But for the most part, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring out the most of what that person is by like taking what their influences are and keeping that, mindful experience. Like I like to be really mindful about the people that I'm working with, because it's like I want to see how they actually sound. I want to bring out the most of who they are and not try to influence it too much with me unless they want it.
Yeah.
Which I say this, and I might just be influencing them by doing exactly this, which is how I go about it. And then I'll go about like, if it's an acoustic singer-songwriter, I'll try and do like an XY microphone technique. I really like stereo techniques.
Yeah.
When it comes to, because I like hearing the fact that I'm holding a guitar while I'm listening.
Yeah.
Because that's what stereo is. Stereo imaging is basically like you're there, like when you're listening to a drum mix or something, you're behind the kit, you're listening to a guitar player, like a solo guitar player, you're behind the guitar.
Yeah.
And same with the vocals. One vocal mic, XY guitar mic, do my best to do some isolation between the two. There's going to be a little bit of crosstalk. There's going to be a little bit of bleed.
Oh, don't even get me started. I record all live music. It is all crosstalk and bleed.
Yeah, and it's like not the end of the world because, I can basically EQ and figure everything out myself and how to get rid of all this and make it as clean as possible. So from that point, it's just like, all right, this is what you want. But suppose this acoustic singer, songwriter, whatever, is like, hey, can you like do the rest? I'm gonna be like, what do you mean the rest? It's like, make it sound like a full-on song. At that point, that's when I actually be like, okay, what do you want it to sound like? Oh, yeah. Do you want it to sound like this artist or that artist? And then I'll go about constructing a song based around what the references that they gave me here. But then usually most of the time these days, it's like, do your thing. And I'll be like, okay. But honestly, like I said, my thing is I'm trying to bring out what I see in the music or what I'm hearing from them. And I guess I do have like a little bit of a style. Like I'll add like strings, I'll add horns, I'll add like keys. And then like I'm a guitar player too, like I say I'm not like a one specific instrumentalist, but a lot of my stuff also involves like really riffy, sometimes pretty guitar stuff. So I'll just add whatever. And like most people will take like samples and stuff. For me personally, I like to compose it a little bit more, like I'll write out straight up sheet music for a horn player to play, and I'll give them the horn player like, here you go, this is what you got. It's got commas for where you need to breathe and everything. Yeah. So like I even consider myself more of a composer than I consider myself more of a producer, because I like to bring in all these ideas. Like I'll bring in like a sample as a reference, and then I'll try to recreate that sample within myself using maybe not a synthesizer, maybe using a bunch of horns, maybe using a guitar. Yeah, so I like to work like organically for the most part, like with real instruments, with me like at the helm. Because as much as I love like just straight up taking a sample, throwing it on there and being like a producer, like bam.
Yeah.
I really like the process of being a little bit more mindful of like, all right, how am I going to compose this into this, into this? So like, I'm not usually taking drum loops. I'm just programming drums, or I'm not like, taking horn or like not horn samples, string samples, but I'll take the string samples and I'll like pitch them around and stuff just to make it like my own. Because the thing about like taking samples like that is it's not so much about stealing the line, but stealing the phrasing. Yeah. So I'll take the phrasing and then I'll just pitch shifts everything around and make it into like whatever melody I want.
Hell yeah. I love that.
And then I'll write it out like literally, and then I'll give it to someone if need be.
Hell yeah. Somebody clip that part. That whole explanation should definitely be on the internet somewhere.
Yeah.
That was very well put. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now let's go ahead and let's talk more about you as the musician, you in the world of playing music, not so much capturing it. And I mean, you play for many different groups, play for many different people. I mean, you're in Coloso with Cameron Ray. Shout out Cameron. And you've also, haven't you played with Gus Jeffers?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out Gus.
I'm basically his backing musician.
Gotcha. Okay. Hell yeah.
Sometimes usually I'm playing like guitar or bass, but oftentimes these days I've ended up playing just both on stage. So like I'll have like my Line 6 Helix out with like two different wirelesses. One left side is going into a guitar amp.
Yep.
The other right side is going out to like a bass amp or like the mains or something. And I'm just like, all right, depending on the song, what do we need? Do we need a guitar or do we need a bass? And usually it's both.
Fair enough. You're gonna have to start doing like foot bass like Geddy Lee.
I've tried to dabble in that. I can do it. It's just like, man, now this just feels extra. But also that Gus band also has a bass player.
Oh,
From time to time. I'm only the bass player of that band when I need to be the bass player of that band.
gotcha.
Because I'm usually just the guitar player of that band.
Fair.
Or was it the bass player? I can't tell. This is how ridiculous.
No, you're
is.
doing stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And like, what are some of the other like main projects that you're in? Like, what are some of the things you're like putting more like full-time energy towards?
So definitely Coloso right now.
Mhm.
Like we've been on like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tours this year.
Mhm.
It's May, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not even halfway through. That's a tour every month.
I know, it's insane. It's so awesome and dumb at the same time. Like,
I mean, hey, getting out there playing, like going through the circuits. Have y'all made it over to Hawaii at all?
yeah, that was the first tour of the year.
Gotcha. Okay, a good time to go for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh yeah. So I mean, like you're going through the routes, you're going through the process. Are you guys going to try and tour the whole country this year?
Not this year, but hopefully by next year we'll be able to make it all the way to the East Coast. Like
Gotcha.
and we're going to try and make a round, but so far this year it's been Hawaii. We went to the Big Island, Maui, and Kauai. We didn't go to where I'm from for some reason. I'm from Oahu, and it's like, well, okay, I guess not. We couldn't find a show, at least back then, because of we have a crap ton of members, so it's kind of also really hard to house all of us, and a lot of us can't really make the full tour sometimes because touring Hawaii is expensive.
I mean, touring in general is expensive.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, how many of us can make it here? So it's like making it worth our while, which a lot of the shows in Maui, I'd say, are worth the while. Like, okay, let's go here and play like basically one of the sickest venues they got there. Like we play at the playground all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go to like Big Island. We'll play at like Blue Dragon Tavern, which is another really sick venue. Like that's a sleeper venue. If anyone in the Big Island knows, if you know, you know, you know. And then Kauai, we're still figuring it out. But Oahu, it's funny. There's like a lot of venues. That's where the music is. That's where I'm from. That's where all my friends are. And like even all my friends back in the day and all of the new friends that I have in the scene now that I've made like after reconnecting my life with reggae.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, we could totally just go there and smash it as well, but we just got to like figure out the logistics of it all.
Yeah.
But here in the mainland, when we're going on tour, we have a bus.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hell yeah. That makes it work. Like, is it a converted school bus or is it like a bus?
It's a bus, like a shuttle bus, like a tour shuttle bus from Seattle. It says,
oh, that's
Let's
awesome.
Tour Seattle on it, and like it's faded away. And guess how many miles it has on it?
How many miles? Hold on. I'll try and guess. I want to say 320,000.
Higher.
420,000.
Higher.
Oh, geez. 680,000.
You ready?
I'm ready.
830,000 miles.
Holy crap.
We've put like about
Wow.
8,000 to 10,000 miles on it now since last October.
That's a very low number. I imagine you've probably put much more than that. Much more than that.
Probably.
You've probably, by that, you've probably put closer to like 30 or 40 at this point.
Nah. We've only gone
You'd
like
be surprised.
I guess so.
I mean, in my car commuting to work and back, I put 3,000 on in 2 months.
Fair enough. I guess so, because we literally, the first tour we did with this bus, it was so stupid. We got this bus like a week before that tour.
Mm-hmm.
And like Kevin, like he'll be on here one of these days. You'll see. He basically bought this tour bus because it was cheaper than renting like a van.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was like an old falling apart. It had like black mold growing inside of it because like the window was cracked open. But we cleared it out. I went in there. I like basically was just in my underwear with a mask on, like a ventilator, and just cleaning out. Like I did like a 5-layer scrub. Like like I steam cleaned that crap. Bam, all gone. I Cloroxed it. Bam, all gone. I put some Dr. Bronner's on it. Blam, all done. And I put some like just regular scrub on it. Bam, all done. I gave it the good old Filipino last final tech. Put some bunch of vinegar on it and was just like, hey, this thing is clean. And then our saxophone player, he built us like 2 bunk beds basically, and they're all just stuck in the back. And I've got the best bunk in the house, dude. Like, it's awesome. Like I get to just watch the world go by laying back, and I'm like eating chips or something. But it sounds awesome, but then it gets sucky.
It's up and down for sure. I mean,
up and down
in a bus. I mean, first of all, you probably don't have a bathroom in a bus like that.
No,
so you're making stops regardless. I'm sure it's snug, especially with all the people and all the gear.
Oh yeah,
and you know the ventilation is probably not amazing. You know what I mean? Like, so like touring is not for everyone. You know, that's something they don't tell you at the beginning, but there's a wonderful book that I don't know if you've read or not.
The DIY tour.
The DIY Guide to Touring. Phenomenal book. I'm not going to speak on it too much, but anybody thinking of touring, get this. It's on Amazon. It's really, really helpful and violently informative.
Violently informative. You know? I like that because I'll say what I was hanging out with Catch a Fire like after a show one time, and I was talking to the percussionist, and he told me something that stuck with me for a very long time up until right now, and probably for the rest of my touring career. And he said it like this: touring's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, very much so.
And it definitely isn't, because like, let me tell you, man, like it's all fun and games until you take a bong rip out of 105-degree water, man. Yeah, that'll do it for sure. But also you don't realize how much you don't love your friends when you're in a tiny box with them. See, I say like I can deal with it though. That's what it is.
They're different temperaments. Some people are more built for it. Some people aren't. But that's where you find out.
Yeah, this is definitely.
You are or not. It's like low key Thunderdome at some points.
Yeah, like once you've like smelled enough of everyone's farts, it's like, all right, I think I definitely know who this person is.
Some of the like bigger bands, whenever they talk about it, it seems to be that they always are like, hey, we've figured out our process. Like when we're in the tour bus, we don't talk during like certain points, or like at the certain half of the day we do this or that. Like eventually, if you're doing it all the time and you're not living like private jet comfort, you can figure it out. Like you'll work it out if it's something you want to do, but more it's finding out if it's something you want to do. It's the fun part in the beginning, and as long as you love doing it, it stays fun. If you don't love doing it, it gets rough.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on tour number 6 that's coming up.
Yeah,
like for this, just within the last 12 months. Yeah, like probably we've definitely done more within the last 12 months. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's ridiculous how many we've done.
No, y'all are going pretty full on pretty much all the time for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any other like main projects you're in at the moment, or is that pretty much the demand?
I'm actually also the guitar player of 9 to 5, which is another reggae band that's up and coming. We actually just got put on the bill for Reggae on the Way, which is like one of the bigger reggae festivals in like the Northwest in Tacoma. It's at Airport Tavern, Airport Way. I think they're going to block off the street and then like put a stage there. Apparently that's what I've been told. That's what they've done in years past. And I actually played there with Coloso a couple of years ago, like in 2022. I'm pretty sure 2022. Yeah. It was pretty cool. Like I got the breakfast slot is what I call it.
Yeah.
We play in front of the breakfast crowd.
Yeah. Hey,
Which is still cool, by the way.
Those kinds of settings, yeah. I think when it's like an all-day thing like that,
Yeah.
and not, like EDM festivals don't count because it all happens overnight if you really want the full experience.
Yeah.
But like daytime settings are totally acceptable. And when it's something that's been around for a while, people show up early.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some people that don't want to be there all day. There's some people that don't want to be there in the later half of the day. They're going to go early. They're going to get there. They're going to make the most of it.
Exactly. So I played with the breakfast crowd, and I'm about to play for the breakfast crowd again. But you know what? Those breakfast crowd people are going to get the show of their lives. Just you wait. Just you watch. Everyone was going to be like, you know what? We should have arrived at 1 o'clock.
Yep. I mean, 1 o'clock is lunch.
Yeah, but it's in the grand scheme of music, it's breakfast.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the experience for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I am curious to know, out of all of the music you play with each of your bands, do you have like one from each group that you like enjoy playing a lot? Like one where you're like, all right, it's time to play this one.
In all the band, and like a song?
Yeah, is there like a song from each like thing that you're active in at the moment that like every time it comes up you're like, yeah, time to play this one?
I don't know necessarily about it's time to play this one, but there's definitely some songs that it's like, all right, it's definitely my time to shine. Like whether it's me like getting super low and doing a weird squat sway thing, or like me just absolutely shredding.
Yeah.
It like really depends. So I like, it's funny that you mentioned like what really is a really cool song, because like I'll give you an example. Like in Coloso, we got like songs that have specific parts, like, and they're like dances or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like we do it only live. You only get to see it live, and it's like, hey, guess what? Bam, it's part of the performance. And those are the parts that I'm like, all right, I get kind of excited to play those ones.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's like you gotta just come to a live to see these ones.
Fair.
Like I can't even tell you what song it is because it would just spoil it all the more. You just like, it's part of the experience,
Well, y'all heard it here.
Come see us
now.
Yeah. But like I get, but you know what though? In like 9 to 5, I'd say there's like a couple of parts, like couple songs. Like there's this guitar song that I didn't write at all. Like we got like the guitar player of Aurora Wave now, the band that he's in, to do like these guitar lines. So he recorded those guitar lines, and I'm out here playing it and doing the solo, and I'm like, yeah, that's the song. I love that song. Like I'll play that all day. Like I practice that one in my sleep, basically.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple things, but for the most part, it's just like I wouldn't say there's anything like super song specific wise that I'd be without like having to just demonstrate.
Fair enough. All right, now before we move into the next portion, this next question is probably the densest question in the interview. But we talked a little bit about, your experience with music, the actions, the reactions. But when it's just you and music, one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
What does music give back to me? This is going to sound really weird, but like an interesting and fun sense of discipline. Because I've just been doing it for so long that it's like, I'm just going to keep making it get better personally, whether it's in one section or another section. Like I'll give you an example for when I'm actually just sitting by myself with a guitar with no DAW or no nothing. Like I'll be up at like 5 or 6 a.m. and it's dark in my room. Like the curtains are closed. I can't see my guitar, but I have my like nylon string Cordoba with me. And I'm just doing scales up and down the neck, up until like the 12th fret, back down. And I'm like, why am I doing this so early in the morning? And it's because I've just done this the entire time. And it's like, well, I got that sense of consistency, sense of getting better. And it's like, I already know that it's like improving, if not maintaining, my dexterity at the guitar or at the bass or whatever instrument I'm playing. So that's what I get from music. I get like a combination of like discipline and like that feeling that you get like while just getting better at something. Like, I know it sounds like really methodical, mathy, and not emotional at all, because for some reason, like,
no, I mean,
it's just, but for me personally, that's what I get from it. That's like, I'm doing it. This is consistent. I've done it so often that I guess I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, you've been doing music since you were like 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've been performing since you were 4. Like, your life has existed so heavily with it that like using it in that way, or like not even using it, but it interacting with your life in that way almost makes more sense, because for you it's not like I picked this up in my like late teens to make friends. This has just been part of your life for so long.
Yeah.
Like this is like the foundation of your being. So it almost makes too much sense that would be kind of how you do it. But also, when you do it this often, like when you do anything this often, just as a person, you have to have a different type of passion for it. You have to have a different level of care. Like, it almost has to be like an insatiable hunger, but one that isn't intrusive. So like, it's one of those things where it's like your natural state craves to almost be in that setting. And that's awesome. Like, it's cool that, you know, as a human being, you're able to find that. As a person, you were able to get that and to have, you know, like, I don't know if you're comfortable saying how old you are on camera, but you know, that's a good chunk of life. You know what I mean? Like, so much more of your life than not.
And I'm pretty proud of it, honestly. Like
no, that's impressive, man. You are blessed to have the presence of music be in your life as long as it has, be nurtured and supported as much as it has, and to be able to do all of the things. You're one of the few people that is actually successfully able to do all of the things in music. You are able to record other people. You are able to tour full time. You are able to play with multiple like musical experiences. Do you make your general income off of music as well? Or do you have a day job?
I don't really have a day job, but I definitely will find gigs to do. Like, if it's not playing like a thing, it's like finding a client to engineer something for, write a song for someone. It's just like, I make my living off of exactly what it is. I make my living off of music. And
exactly. So you're literally, you designed your whole life to be around music and you enjoy it. That's awesome. That is literally the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dream, definitely, because it's like sometimes I'm like, when am I going to wake up?
Yeah, I mean, so it's not that it's not work for sure, too. Like you are putting in, you know, like you said earlier, you've been going full on and you're about to go full on for even longer. Like, you know, nobody knows sleepless nights more than this guy.
But honestly, like, what else would I do? That's
exactly. See, that's what I always try to tell people is it's like, you can, like, as people, we have to have a purpose. We have to have a thing we're doing. It doesn't matter what it is at the end of the day. We're all just specks of dust on a floaty rock. You know, you can get as nihilistic as you want with that. But life is better if you have a thing to do. And if you figure it out early, that's great. If you figure it out later, still great. Still great. As long as you find the thing to do. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I haven't been doing this the exact entire time. There was like moments of my life where I did stop. Like this wasn't the main focus. I didn't stop, but it definitely, like, I was trying to do other things, like, cause I thought I should have been a little bit more normal. So I went to did the engineering thing, and I lived in the Bay Area, and I tried to get like a regular job and all that. And
that's just knowing the world. Like, you have to know you don't like something to know you don't like something.
Yeah.
But you'll never know if you don't like something if you don't try it.
Yeah. And I tried it, and it was just like, you know what? This is cool. And then like things happened, like COVID or whatever. And I'm here all of a sudden. It's like, all right, the whole world has just reset itself. What do I do? So then I'm just like throwing it out there. I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go like teach audio engineering? Am I going to go like teach computer science? Am I going to go teach guitar? Am I going to go like be an AV guy again? I'm going to go play music. And it turned out like, here I am, music first. And then now everything else just kind of blossomed from that, because, you know, and I'm really glad I get to say that, because it's like, for a long time, I really didn't think I was that good. Like, honestly, I'm like, all right, I'm just kind of like existing in the world. Like, and I'm not as like, I came from like math rock and prog, and that's kind of like an already like nuts genre of guitaring and bassing and drumming.
That's just people overachieving.
Yeah.
All of the, like, the part of the requirement of the genre is overachievement.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt it for a bit because I definitely was just shredding like until like just to make other shredders just piss their pants.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right, well, now what? And the world reset itself. And it's just like, well, I'm not that great because I'm not as good as like the top 0.00001%, but who freaking cares?
Yeah.
You know, like what's even the best anyways?
Man, that is something that like over time, over the last like, I guess we'll call it 3 years for the show at this point, 2 years and 11 months. Ooh. The like looking at yourself is important. Like knowing what you're doing, knowing how you're doing it, very important. But then when you look at other people or other like entities that are doing the same thing as you, you should look to them for inspiration. You should look to them for like new ideas you never thought of. But it's not fair to compare yourself because, you know, you don't know what their setting was or like what opportunities they had or didn't have or how they got led to it or what like free time they were afforded.
Yeah.
And like better and worse is so subjective. You know what I mean? Like you were saying how you were like, oh, when I engineer people, I want to pull their ideas up to the front. And sometimes when I play, it makes their ideas my ideas. They already know what you play. They already know what you sound like.
Yeah.
They wanted you to begin with because they're already aware that you're good. If they heard your music and they were like, I hate this, why would they want you to make the music for them?
Exactly. I wouldn't even be working with them if they didn't even like me, which for the better part, I guess, is like I don't really have many haters because of that reason, because it's like, well, maybe I'm just not paying attention to them.
I mean, you're staying busy. That's the thing. Like you're not on the internet stirring the pot. You're not out here yelling about the like who hates this guy this week kind of thing. You're just doing your thing and helping people make music.
Yeah, I'm just trying to live.
Playing music. You're playing music, helping people make music, and playing with other people making music. Like, what's the hate?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just, like I said, just trying to exist, just trying to live, whatever that means. Like, here I am. This is just what I'm doing this weekend, you know? Like, I'm playing music. I could be doing anything else, but this week I'm doing music, which looks like most weeks, honestly.
Yeah. Again, trust me, I feel ya.
Which is, again, you know, it's a blessing. I definitely feel very fortunate to be in a position where I am allowed to, I say this, allowed.
Oh, for sure. Well, it is. We are, none of this is statistically life-saving. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not in the doctor's room, like putting the things into people or taking things out of people. Like, at the end of the day, this is an art. So the way that we give to the world has to be different. It has to come from a different level of care. And it almost has to involve like dedicating a portion of your person to it. That's something that I wish more people took the time to acknowledge, is that by like committing to a craft, you have to decide how much of your personality to make it. You have to decide how much of your time it takes, because the more you let it take that, the more it becomes what people know you as, how you talk about things, the way you look at the world. So, you know, take from that what you will. I guess I kind of tangented for a little bit. I apologize.
No, I feel it. It's like that artist identity that every artist is searching for is actually what's just already happening. And that's why, like, for the most part, I try to maintain like this calm, like peaceful, I'm just here for the music attitude, because it's like, well, I don't really want to step on anyone's toes or nothing. I don't really want to offend anyone. I'm just kind of like here. That's also why I like being in the reggae scene, because for the most part, reggae is such like a chill genre. There's hardly any drama inside of
the vibe.
It's part of the vibe. It's like we're all just trying to live and have a good time right now. Like whether the world is terrible or not, we're just existing in it. And it's like, yeah, it's how it is, man. Like, and that's why I do music, because it's like I'm just trying to exist in the world. I could be existing suffering, and I'm glad I'm not, but I'm gonna, even if I was in like a position like that, I would still do my best to whatever it means I can. I wouldn't lose that hope. I mean, I burn out sometimes, don't get me wrong, like
when you're going that full on, you kind of have to.
Yeah, like, but that's just, you're tired at work, and it's like, and then I realized, it's like, once I start burning out, I'm like, I hate music, I'm gonna quit. Then I'm like, turn around, I'm like,
yeah, you take a nap and eat a granola bar and you're like, I was never going to do any of that. That was a lie.
That was a lie. I'm lying to myself. Like,
My bad.
Yeah.
I get that. Also, I think that right now's culture is a little strange, where it's like the narrative is that you have to be doing all the time. You have to be putting out stuff all the time. You have to be making moves all the time. You have to be getting that bag. You have to be getting that, that status, that number, that achievement, that this, that. You got to put out more. Like, there's so much need to do's. But music and art in general, really, any kind of like creative or collaborative thing has to, you have to be present, and to be present all the time will wear you out. But also, by learning about the rest of the world, like, how you said, you came to the mainland, you traveled to a few different places, you got to try out a job, you got to try out this, you got to do that. You eventually get to these points where like you have to learn new things that have nothing to do with what you're doing, because it shakes the cage a little bit, and it realigns your view so that you can see more out of what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like the best way to take a step back and just be like, what is actually happening around me? Like, what am I doing? And like, I try to do that as often as I can, where it's like, let me just take a step back, because like, I'll get a little too crazy in the production engineer or multi-instrumentalist world and be like, what's going on? And I just like, wait, what's going on? All right, I guess I'm doing some pretty sick stuff. Yeah. Like, in the middle of doing all the really sick stuff, I think I'm doing nothing with my life sometimes. I'm like, this sucks. What's going on? And then I take a step back again. I was just in Arizona doing some really cool stuff. Yeah. There's a bunch of people who joined my fan club.
It's very forest through the trees.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely I can't see the forest through the trees.
Yep.
Freaking
hell yeah.
Teddy swims, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for going through that with us. To wrap it up, though, I do have a couple of hypothetical questions for you.
Boy.
And for these, questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one is pretty straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Wow, that's a hard one.
And it's not to say if you pick one person, all the other options become off the table. So just whoever comes to mind.
Gosh, that is a hard one, or maybe it's not. I'm a Filipino guy, and I'm just going to say what all the other Filipino guys would say, and just say, I want to work with Bruno Mars.
Oh, hell yeah.
That guy's sick. Like, I could probably, we could do something really interesting. Like, we could make a Hawaiian reggae song right now, Bruno. Like, I met your dad once. But
hell yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, we could probably do something really cool.
Also, that would just be a fun hang. I imagine he's got some musical chops at this point.
It's true.
And then who's somebody locally that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
I think about that. Someone locally that I haven't. Shoot. I've connected with a lot of the ones I've already liked.
Fair. Well, like anybody who's like come on your radar recently, or somebody you like heard about?
I'm trying to think, like, who's come on my radar recently. I want to say someone. Frick, what was their name? Oh, actually, it's funny because my drummer plays in this band, and everyone for some reason I know knows these people. But this band called Hiroki.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I see the main guy, the producer, Sal is his name. I'm pretty sure
they were the two main guys were on the show.
Yeah. I actually saw some of his what if this song was R&B, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. What if I made what if this song was reggae? But then my other friend's already doing that. I'm like, what can I do? But no, I saw them, and my drummer, the drummer of Nine to Fire, he's actually also in that band, and I'm like, well, maybe someday we'll cross paths each other, because right now it's I'm definitely on this path. Yeah, doing all this stuff, and it just. This genre is so different from this genre, and it's just the paths. Yeah,
your circles just don't interact at all. Yeah.
One day, I mean, the circles are 1 degree of separation.
Far. Well, I mean, you have a shared member, so that'll link y'all in one way or another. But yeah, definitely. I mean, hit them up. They're fairly accessible. They are super nice dudes. Yeah. I promise you'd be able to link with them.
They are. Like, I've heard a lot of cool things about all of those dudes. Heck, I'm like, I'm the guitar player with the drummers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just have to somehow, once this is like calmed down a little bit and I get to branch out a little bit more, which I'm also in like another project which could potentially cross over that path at some point, which, I'm betting it will eventually at this point. So now it's really just a matter of time. Because like I said, most of the people that I wanted to work with, like at least locally, I'm already working with them. So it's pretty awesome. But in terms of like outside of my genre, it would be those guys. And if there's here's another fun one. There's a band. They're an emo band, and I just discovered them like 2 months ago.
Is it the Decemberists?
No. No, they're from here. And they're called Gonzales. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
that's my name.
Yeah.
And like they play emo, like I'm like, oh gosh, that's you. So I followed them. I didn't even know anyone in that band. And I'm just like, I just want to follow you because like you guys are sick.
Hell yeah. I love that. Well, everybody, you know what to do. At them in the comments. Let's see if we can make that happen.
There you go.
And then for the sixth one, like I said before, sky's the limit, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it's guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show. And it doesn't have to be a venue. It could be anywhere. Where would you want to perform?
The bottom of the Mariana Trench.
Okay. Interesting. What made you pick that?
Because let's see how low we can get while getting really low with the bass.
Oh, okay. I dig that.
I know it's like a funny, like the line of thought was like, for some reason, that's the first thing that I thought of. I'm like, yeah, let's just get really low, down low. And my festival would be called Getting Low, Down Low.
I love that. Well, somebody coined that quick before. No, I'm kidding. All right. And then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday. Who'd you want an album from?
Ooh, it's another toughie. Shoot, there's like, gosh, that's such a hard question.
I know.
Oh man. Let's make it like because all the other ones just sound like too standard. So let's go with a weird answer. Let's go with a K-pop group. You heard me. I want another 2NE1 album. You hear me, Minji and like Bomb Park and CL.
They watch the show, so I'm sure.
I want another 2NE1 album or a Wonder Girls album.
Hell yeah.
Like, give me the good old golden days of K-pop back. I have a K-pop tattoo, by the way.
And it's not this one?
It's not that one.
Oh, you have another one.
Another one.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's a song by 2NE1. So I want another song 2NE1 to tattoo on my body. That's what I want.
You heard him, everybody. Get on it. All right. But with that being said, we are going to go ahead and start wrapping this up.
All right.
I'm sure this is going to be a really long answer, but what can we look forward to in the next 6 months?
Hopefully a single coming out from any one of my bands. It could be from Coloso, it could be from 9 to 5, and it could be from the other band that I didn't really quite talk too much about. That one's called Good Talk.
Ooh, good name.
Well, we're trying to rename it and rebrand it because apparently Good Talk is taken and our lawyer was just like, all right, I guess you can't use Good Talk no more. And it's like, what? Okay, fine. So now we're under a rebrand right now. But honestly, any of the albums that I'm going to be working on, like, because I just started a production company called Locomoco Productions.
Oh, good name.
Yeah, right. It's the freaking food, Locomoco. It's a local food.
Oh, and very familiar.
Yeah, it's so I started like an audio engineering / production company business that I'm going to start finding some clients around the local scene. So you're going to hear a little bit more about that coming out. So that's honestly the thing that I'm personally the most excited about. It's not any specific single or album that I'm going to be releasing, but it's the stuff that I'm going to be doing for people.
Yeah.
Because that's where my passions truly, truly lie. It's like doing it for someone else. Like, yeah, I'm my own artist. I'm my own musician. And I have a very firm philosophy about being a band member or being a producer, and it's to make whoever else sound good. It's not about you sounding good. It's about making the person that you're working with sound good. So, and that could be like any of the ways you can get around it. You could play really well around them. You could just straight up, just anything to elevate that person. So that's the thing I'm the most excited about. I'm also going on tour a whole bunch.
Hell yeah.
So
hell yeah. Well, definitely looking forward to all of that. For this next one, go and look straight at your camera. Tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at mahoshow.jo. Maho Show Joe. That's where you can find me.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Like I said, shout out to Gus Jeffers, shout out to Rain Ezra, shout out to
Rain Ezra.
Nine to Fire, shout out to Soul Seed, shout out to Cam. You were here.
Hell yeah.
I said I'd shout you out, and I shouted you out.
Perfect. All right. And with that being said, I've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But in all of music, what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? A bit of a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know, but it's one you think everybody should know.
Oh, gosh.
Digging into the vault for this one.
Bedlam and the Goliath by the Mars Volta.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
Or
cool answer.
Periphery 2.
We're going to stick with the Mars Volta. No, I'm kidding. Those are both super solid answers.
Those are some, like, if you know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, those are both super solid recs. All right. But with that being said, we're going to go and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. Like, wow. What a great day. What a great thing to end on.
Right. Yeah. You got to do music all day and then you get to sit down and talk about music.
I know.
Hell yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Josh.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.